Virginia Congressman Ben Cline, also a member of the House Judiciary Committee. Good morning, Congressman.
Great to see you. Good morning. So we know that clip that we just played was just one of the many victims of illegal migrant gangs in this country. Were you surprised by anything you heard yesterday? And what happens now?
Well, I wasn't surprised at the Democrats' characterization of this invasion as simply migration. And the victim that you saw, she wasn't surprised either. She considers it to be an invasion, and so do most of the American people. The president is delivering on his promises to secure the border and to remove dangerous illegal immigrants from this side of the border, and we need to support him. But the judges are blocking that effort, and it's very concerning.
Yeah, I want to shift gears a little bit now. Yesterday, the House was supposed to actually vote on that a bill which would allow new moms and dads in Congress to vote remotely on legislation in the first 12 weeks following a child's birth. However, the Speaker attempted to block that vote. It failed. Now everyone's going home, and basically the agenda is stalled. I'm kind of surprised that, with Republicans being the party of families, women, that they'd block such legislation.
Well, we are the party of families, and the Speaker said he wants to make accommodations for new mothers. But the Constitution is very clear. It says that a quorum has to be a certain number of members there in person. And so proxy voting is unconstitutional. The courts have sent it back to us saying, solve your own problems. But the Constitution is very clear, and the Speaker understands that. So we can't allow this opening of the door to proxy voting. Nancy Pelosi was the one who introduced it, and it was abused during COVID. So we want to make sure that we continue to ensure that when members get elected to Congress, they show up to vote.
So you think that when this does hit the floor for a vote, that proxy voting is a no-go? Because it sounds like, obviously, what you're saying, many Republicans believe and they see that essentially it is unconstitutional.
Well, most of us do, and all of us make sacrifices when we come up here. We have families that we leave at home, but in any job you make sacrifices, and we understand when we run for office that it is going to take up a lot of time. And so members need to be clear-eyed about this vote, that once we allow it for new mothers, we're going to allow it for hospice care for loved ones. We're going to allow it for time. Steve Scalise, he got shot on the baseball field, and he was out for months, and he didn't want a proxy vote. He opposes proxy voting. He says, I continue to serve my district in other ways, but I got back to vote as soon as I could. And that's what we all need to remember, is that we need to be there in person serving our districts.
Yeah, sadly, because of this and the delay now and everyone going home, things like the SAVE Act, which would require proof of citizenship to vote in U.S. elections, issues dealing with the judges like you had with your hearing yesterday, all of that has now been delayed. When do you think you get back to the president's agenda?
I hope immediately. The SAVE Act was an important step towards securing our elections. This is something that's very important to the president. He wants to see it done. So he is upset at the redirection away from his agenda. He wants to get back to his agenda as quickly as possible, and so do a majority of House Republicans.
All right, Congressman Ben Cline from the Commonwealth of Virginia, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank
you. Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.